Seth says new friends are everywhere. He runs up to every person in the airport. He says, new friends are everywhere. How old are you? What's your name? What's your email? He means it. He goes up to young women, old women, men, teenagers, people on walkers. He doesn't care. If you exist, he wants to be your friend. He loves humanity. Seth is much more than an artist. I think Seth is the ultimate hope for any one of us, that we may have gifts inside that we don't even know exist.
A lot of people who either don't understand autism or have children with autism see Seth's work and they say, oh, this is possible, and not think of autism as a disease.
I never thought he was an autistic artist. I thought he was an artist. He's handsome, he's funny, he's sweet, he's musical, he's autistic, he's a little outside time and space. Like, autistic is one of the things he has, like the color of your eyes. It's not his essence.
He can't be summarized. Extraordinary, it's a generous word, but it's still not enough. He's untouchable, but he touches everybody. He doesn't set the bar, he is above it, you know, there is no bar.
I'm not saying he's not autistic. I'm saying he's happy. He lives a life of bliss, he's helping people, and he is touching something now very universal. A year ago, nobody, including me, would have believed anything that's happened now. A year ago, Seth had local shows. That was it. He had not traveled any place out of the country, and he had local shows in Cleveland. And now he already has had an opening in Galapagos. He's scheduled to have an opening in Grand Cayman. He is going to Art Omai for a residency for 4 weeks, and he will be in Brooklyn and Manhattan, in lobbies and in garages. How will the people feel if they have your painting?
Feel excited.
I just assumed we would have an absolutely normal life. I was a clinical social worker in private practice. My husband is a clinical psychologist. All our friends were therapists. So when Seth was 18 months, we had our New Year's Eve party, and the next morning a therapist friend called and said, I think Seth is autistic. And I had no idea. When he was young, all I wanted was for him to become normal. In autism, it's called converging. It means you'll pass for normal. So if you're going to converge, I was told you converge at 12. We tried therapeutic riding when he was 4. We did therapeutic skiing. We would read these miracle books about one child who had autism and their family did da-da-da-da, and the child was totally normal. So we would do da-da-da-da, and we would get no change. But one kid went to Switzerland, and there was some kind of auditory training, and then she was normal. So we weren't going to go to Switzerland, but then it was in Youngstown. It's an hour and a half away. Oh my God, how could we not go? So we went to Youngstown, and they said to us, now, one person was normal, and some people go from 3-word sentences to 5-word sentences. And some people get no change. That's not the same as normal. So what we did, it was an hour and a half there, every day, an hour and a half back. I think it was $1,700. It was 10 days. For us, nothing worked. Seth went for an evaluation when he was 18 and was evaluated and recommended a career in dry mopping. And they felt in 6 weeks they could teach him how to dry mop, and he could work in hospitals dry mopping. And that was not a good fit for Seth. I wanted Seth to have a great life. I would just try anything I could. And that summer, he was 20. I didn't know what else to do. I signed him up for ballroom dancing and for oil painting at the Cleveland Museum of Art. When he brought home his first paintings, I was just shocked. This is a kid who never drew a house, never drew a rainbow, never drew a tree, never drew in his entire life. Then suddenly, when he could paint, it was like Pinocchio. He became a real boy. Like suddenly he became a real boy and he exists. And before this, he didn't exist. He became a player and he knew it. I don't know exactly when the change was because it's almost 5 years now, but Seth says Seth will heal people. Seth will make people feel all better. Seth's art will be in hospitals. Seth will help people. So he wants to heal people, and he feels he has the power to do that. I put up signs at the Cleveland Institute of Art looking for a student. I would say that the universe sends me angels. I don't even know if these people are human.
Mentor is somebody to look up to, but and learn from and share with. But I hesitate in that word being used for those of us involved with Seth because we learned so much from him. So he's my mentor too.
His relationship with Donna is one of the blessings of my life. I did something very, very good in a past life to get Donna.
Seth, it looks like a face.
Yes.
Oh, photography's my passion. I almost didn't meet Seth because Deborah and I played phone tag and she found out I was a photographer and she said, you know, oi, this won't do. And I said, well, why don't you meet me and let's give it a chance.
Donna knew who he was, and she wasn't afraid of him, and she admired him. And she once said to me, Seth and I are so much alike, it scares me.
We paint and draw together and share a world, some other kind of world. Having a lot of people working with Seth at first, I'm very protective of him. I wanted to have a say in the caliber of people around him. And Deborah's obviously done a great job in that. And the more that I see it, I think it's great because like you should have different friends, different professors, different people, and it brings it out, different experiences.
I went to the Cleveland Institute of Art, and there were other people that were already working with him. At this point in the painting, I'm almost just an observer. The way that it starts out, it's helping with brainstorming, and we go up on the internet and I'll ask him questions, and he'll just list off words, so I'll type in words to look up and we'll get images, and then he'll say which ones he likes and all that kind of stuff, and then we just bring whatever his favorites are down here, and then help him with figuring out what colors he wants to use and composition, and then at that point it's just sort of it's all him.
What's wrong? You're happy?
Yes.
When I first started working with Seth, the greatest challenge was hoping that I'd be enough. He really challenged my creative expanse. I don't think I've ever worked so hard to work with someone as I have Seth, and he's worth every ounce of energy I spend.
Composition.
Right, you're working on the composition. What now?
Space fancy rocks.
In the spaces, you're gonna put fantasy rocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
She says, how are your paintings coming? Hope you have a wonderful day. Do you want to write back?
Reply.
Do reply.
Dear.
Or she said good morning. You want to say
Good.
dear or good morning? Your choice.
Morning.
Good morning,
Sally.
Sally. Great. Okay.
It is all cold
Yes,
outside.
it is a cold outside. Beautiful. Seth
Mom.
and Mom. Fine. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Is it just the right place?
Yes.
You want to send?
Keep going.
Matt is a realist, and Seth did his first realistic birds, two-waved albatross courting in the grass with Matt, and I watched 14 hours of painting. And if I had not been there, I would have said Seth did not do those paintings. Seth is the fantasy man, and these look like a photograph.
He's a very bright kid, so why not try to, see how far he can take it. And, so I feel like these paintings take him out of just putting paint on a canvas. They make him think about the paint that he's putting on the canvas. I will be a fifth-year student at the Cleveland Institute of Art. I had a friend that had worked with him before. She just mentioned something to me, and I was tired of working at a coffee shop for 7 years, so I jumped on it. Sometimes he surprises me and does things better than what I would have told him to do.
It's interesting that even though he's doing everything, if you look at paintings, depending on who he's working with, they're definitely very different. The artwork I'm going to be doing this summer I'm doing public art, like murals and stuff, and I think definitely his style and color palette has influenced me. It has to be artwork that everyone can appreciate, and I think having sort of like these vibrant colors is something that everyone will love.
Every day that I come out of here, I feel very kind of, like worthy. Like I feel like whenever I go into the studio, I feel more invigorated. Yeah, he definitely inspires me.
If you didn't know he did it, I don't think it would matter necessarily. I mean, you can appreciate the art as it is. You don't need to know that an autistic person made it to appreciate it.
I think that when Donna and Seth walk or drive, looking for colors, looking at textures, I think the artist's soul in her pulls the artist's soul in him into ascendancy.
We'll drive around, we'll look at colors, we'll look at line, and we'll talk about ideas. I want to stretch him, but I think he's doing a lot of that with traveling with Deborah, and then we're just following up. Okay. What colors do you want to look at? Oh, look. What's this? You see the stars?
Stars, yes.
And bronze? That's gold, like in your turtles? What are you saying? Seth, are those fantasy stones?
Yes.
Over there?
Yes.
The hardest thing for me as a photographer was self-studies. And for years I wouldn't do it. And then when I embarked on that, it was so challenging, but I learned so much. And I thought he really needs to see himself, and do this. And to give way to emotions, because Seth's usually very upbeat, but he went through a challenging time with some things with his family, and he needed a release. It's very hard to have his drawing be free. And that's why I wanted self-studies on larger canvases, because he has to move his whole body and interact with the canvas. To have Seth do the self-studies was extremely important to me, and I think just for him as an artist, for growth, inner growth, artistic growth, his visual voice and just his inner voice that's a lot of the time, like with many artists, whether they have autism or not, it's locked away and you need to unlock it, like chisel away at that lock. Seth's best self-study, in my opinion, and it was the most difficult, was his very first one. It's hanging down by the piano, and it's in black and white and gray tones, and we worked for months on that. He didn't want to do it, he did it anyway. He would say self-study difficult, self-study hard. And there's so much beauty on that canvas that is so him to me. He'd look in the mirror, and it's amazing to watch him look at himself, and he would feel my face, he would feel his face, and he'd trace like the lip line, and then we'd take that and we'd do a bigger drawing.
I mean, I always say Seth doesn't talk, and he does have some language.
6 self-studies. Green, upper right comb. I feel excited. Red, lower right. I feel concerned. I feel relaxed. I finished hair. Worried. Chartreuse, upper center. Excited, I feel thrilled. Blue, gray, lower center, I feel independent. Confused, blue, upper left. Happy, I am astonished. Purple, lower left. I feel proud.
When he did his first self-study, which was such a beautiful painting, she put it on the top of her car. These paintings are huge, and drove it to friends so her friends could critique it. She creates like an art school for him.
There's communication through color and through line, through all these elements of design that I think he has an instinct about, but he can't verbalize it. What surprised me with Seth is from the first day we met, there was something visceral, and I was very surprised because he is autistic. There's a finger thing, and it is a touch, and he's reaching out for a touch. He's so much more aware than people realize.
The first couple months I worked with him, we'd have, definitely some frustrating points where I couldn't quite get him, I didn't know the right language to use with him. But at this point, we have a very specific language that we have. I mean, like, whenever you become friends with someone, you understand them in a different way. So I think that's how Seth and I work now.
He's easier to talk to than most of the people I talk to all day. Seth lives in another part of the country, so when he's here, he's doing his own thing when he gets here. So I try to figure out what that is. I like keeping him on the same track. I don't want him to come from Ohio to here and just change everything. I don't consider Seth an autistic artist at all. In fact, I think he's joking most of the time. I think I'm like waiting for him to be like, okay, guys, this is an act and it's over, Like he's a person, and he's really talented. Mostly when he's here, he paints New York. There's a lot of things in New York that affect Seth. I think he likes architecture a lot. He gets a kick out of it. And it goes into his artwork, I see it. Like the painting he's working on now, he started 6 hours ago and he's almost done with it. It's great, I don't know too many guys who can do a really nice painting in 6 hours.
There's Coney Island.
Where?
Over there.
I've ridden a roller coaster with him, and that's one of the greatest things I've done with him.
Goodbye old rides, how different rides and attractions replace old rides and attractions. At Corny and Brook Nuke in the future. Corny Park Theme Code Design has Corny Park with new rides and attractions, including newest big steel coaster.
I wanted to see what it was like, and he was very confident. I was a little nervous. I hadn't been on one in a while, and he told me how I had to, we had to lay down. I'm like, you don't just sit, you know, and he showed me what we had to do, and I felt safe with Seth there because he's the king of it.
He burns so hot and so fast, so I think that's like what a coaster is, you know, go chug, 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 zoom.
Art, it's a heartbeat. It helps people to live. It helps them to communicate. And I can't imagine a world without it. I think it saves lives. I think it changes lives, and I think it builds community in a way where people don't feel so isolated. And I think that there's great power in art.
I think that Seth has an essence that's very healing and soothing, and his art ability, I think, has not even begun to plateau. So I think artists are excited by what he can do, and they know he's not begun to peak. He's just warming up.
I think if everything goes right, a lot more people will see his work, and that's my hope for him.
So any of the open spaces?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a few more stones and then a wash? Okay.
I think he will eventually become financially stable. He's sold about 30 paintings at market price, and I think this is, you know, a spiritual journey.
He'll make a career out of it. I mean, he definitely will make a career out of it. I mean, he loves to do it, so as long as he continually loves to do it, he'll only be successful with it.
Do you need help? Or are you okay?
I am okay.
Good. Good, 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 good.
Seth is a visionary. I don't usually talk about Seth and miracles because I don't want to be discounted and there's no way to prove it. I would say that this whole journey is beyond anything that logic could ever explain. It's like anything he wants to do, he seems to be able to do.
Deborah calls him Angel of God. Sometimes that makes me giggle. Well, I love her accent. But there is something not of this world. More stones? When do we do a wash?
He touches people's hearts.
He's non-judgmental. He's open and beautiful inside and out. I don't have words for what he is.
Art shows at Busch Gardens Europe and next weekend.
You're going. I'm not spoiling him or indulging him, I'm trusting him. He's never been wrong.
He's one of the few people who, hands down, without a question, he is part of my entire world. He doesn't need to just glimpse parts of it. And I think he's very aware of that.
I have to protect Seth to my grave and past my grave. And it is the deepest pleasure for me. It is the deepest pleasure. I hope I live to 120.
I used real stones for this painting. I used many different hues of gold. The stones are textured, rough, and smooth. The two turtles are swimming in the Pacific Ocean. The turtle's shells protect their body.